Welcome to the Learn English at Home community. I'm Jenny, your host today. If you want to enhance your English speaking and listening abilities, you're in the right spot. Today's episode is titled Stop Studying, Start Speaking. This is crucial for numerous English learners, particularly those who find themselves at the intermediate level, B1. You might be able to comprehend English, read books, or view videos in English, but when it comes to speaking, you might feel anxious, puzzled, or even quiet. Does this resonate with you? If so, don't be concerned. Many students around the globe share similar feelings. They study grammar, vocabulary, and do exercises, yet they lack confidence when it's time to speak. The reason is straightforward. They engage in excessive studying while neglecting practical speaking. The issue with conventional learning. This episode targets B1 level English learners aiming to transition from merely studying to actively using English in everyday situations. Speaking isn't just a follow-up to studying. It's an essential part of the learning process. In this episode, I will cover why conventional studying falls short, why speaking is essential for fluency, ways to begin speaking today, even if you're not in an English-speaking environment, simple daily tips for practicing your speaking skills. The content of this episode will be easily digestible, packed with actionable ideas. So unwind, listen attentively, and feel free to repeat sentences after me to practice your speaking. Let's embark on this journey together. How most people acquire English. Now let's discuss an important topic. How the majority learn English and why it doesn't always yield results. Many learners adopt a traditional approach to learning English. You might have experienced something similar. Purchase a grammar book. Start learning verb tenses like present simple, past perfect, and future continuous. Attempt to memorize all grammar rules to use them accurately. Create extensive vocabulary lists, jotting down 20 to 30 new words daily. Read English literature, watch films with subtitles, or listen to English songs. While each of these activities is beneficial, there's an issue. Most learners invest too much time studying, but don't practice speaking. They avoid conversations, waiting to feel prepared. But that sensation of readiness may never arrive. The widespread challenge. You might wonder, I study a lot. I know so many words. Why can't I speak? This is a common concern. Many learners express, I can understand English, but I can't speak it. It's true. Perhaps you can follow along with movies, understand your English instructor, or read articles. Yet when it's time to articulate your thoughts, you feel blank, forget words, feel bashful, and fear making errors. You struggle to convey what you wish to say. This isn't your fault. It happens because conventional studying represents only part of the process. The swimming analogy. Consider this. Imagine you want to learn swimming. You watch swimming tutorials, read books about arm and leg movements, and familiarize yourself with different swimming styles: freestyle, backstroke, butterfly. However, you never get into the pool. Do you believe you'll become a proficient swimmer? Absolutely not. The same applies to learning English. You can study grammar and amass vocabulary, but if you never use the language, you won't gain confidence in speaking it. English isn't akin to subjects like mathematics or history. It's a dynamic language meant for communication, expression, and sharing thoughts and feelings. The most effective method to learn a language is through practical use, particularly speaking. The perfection myth. Many learners feel they must achieve perfection before they speak. They think, first, I need to study more. I need to master all the tenses. I need to expand my vocabulary by 1,000 words. Then I can begin speaking. However, this mindset is counterproductive. It hinders your progress. The reality is that you improve your speaking skills through practice, not by waiting for perfection. Consider how infants learn to speak. They don't study grammar rules or compile vocabulary lists. Instead, they listen, repeat, attempt to speak, and make numerous errors, gradually improving over time. This reflects how our brains are wired to learn languages, through active engagement, not merely by studying. Additionally, many traditional English classes place more emphasis on writing and grammar assessments. You might excel academically writing in English, but when faced with a native speaker or real-life conversation, you may feel utterly unprepared. This illustrates that knowing English and actively using it are two distinct concepts. Revamping your method. If you've been dedicating all your time to studying grammar and vocabulary, yet still struggle to converse, it's time to adjust your method. It's not a question of intelligence or effort. You simply haven't been honing the skill you genuinely wish to enhance. Speaking. Core message. The essential takeaway is this. While studying is beneficial, only speaking can transform you into a speaker. If your aim is to communicate effectively and confidently in English, you should practice speaking daily, even if just for a few minutes. Don't hesitate. Don't procrastinate. Begin small. Start now. Why speaking is crucial. Now let's discuss a pivotal aspect of mastering any language. Speaking. It's not merely another skill. It embodies the essence of language learning. If you aspire to speak English proficiently, then incorporating speaking as your primary activity is vital. The function of language. But why is speaking so crucial? We must remember a fundamental truth. Language is a tool for communication. The primary function of any language, including English, is to connect us with others. We employ language to articulate our thoughts, feelings, and desires. We use it to inquire, narrate, express opinions, and comprehend others. And how do we achieve this? Through speaking. If language serves communication, then speaking is the most instinctive and effective method for practice. Reflect on how you engage with your first language. Do you primarily focus on studying grammar books in your native tongue? Certainly not. You engage with others. You listen, speak, respond, and interact. That is authentic communication. Learning like a youngster. Now consider how kids acquire their first language. This offers a profound illustration. Children don't begin with grammar rules or vocabulary memorization. They absorb what they hear from those around them. They listen to their parents, relatives, and friends daily, hearing the same words repeatedly until they begin to mimic those words. Initially, they speak slowly and utilize a limited vocabulary, but as time progresses, their proficiency grows. They don't fixate on grammar or fear making errors. They continue speaking, and that's their pathway to learning, through usage, not through study. The value of practice. It's crucial for you to grasp this. Speaking is learned through actual speaking, not just study. Allow me to reiterate. You learn to speak by engaging in speaking. Studying aids in understanding the rules. Reading expands your vocabulary. Listening helps you become familiar with word usage. But only speaking cultivates confidence, fluency, and the ability to react spontaneously. comparison with other skills. Consider other life skills. Imagine trying to play the guitar. Can you master it solely by reading about it? No. You must seize the guitar and practice. Or envision attempting to drive a car. Watching YouTube videos isn't sufficient. You need to sit in the driver's seat, grasp the wheel, and drive. Speaking English functions in a similar manner. Improvement comes only through practice with your voice and mouth, not just your eyes and mind. When you speak, your brain operates in a unique way. It begins to connect words, phrases, and grammatical structures instinctively. You cease overthinking and start utilizing the language. The more you engage in speaking, the quicker your brain locates the appropriate words. Eventually, speaking becomes more effortless and instinctive. Remembering vocabulary. Speaking out loud assists in better retention of words. When you utilize a new word in a spoken sentence, it is more likely to become part of your active vocabulary. However, if you merely read or write the word, it might only remain in your passive memory. You recognize it when you see it, but you struggle to use it in conversation. Many learners experience shyness or fear when it comes to speaking. They are often anxious about making errors, and this apprehension hinders their progress. It's essential to grasp this reality. Mistakes are an integral part of the learning process. Every proficient English speaker, including natives, occasionally makes errors. Don't postpone speaking until you feel entirely confident. That moment may never arrive. Begin speaking today with the English you currently possess. Use straightforward words and concise sentences. This approach helps you genuinely develop fluency. Speaking to yourself. Even chatting with yourself can be beneficial. When you verbally express thoughts in English, even when you're alone, you condition your brain, tongue, and voice to function together. This practice is highly effective. You don't always require a partner or educator to practice speaking. What you need is the boldness to attempt it. Conclusion. In summary, language exists for communication, and speaking is the most effective way to practice it. Children acquire language by speaking rather than studying, and you can do the same. Perfect grammar isn't necessary to communicate. You only need to begin. The more you speak, the more confident and fluent you will become. Speaking is not merely a final step. It is the fundamental aspect of your journey in English. To be a good speaker, you must engage in speaking. There isn't a hidden formula. Simply speak more every day, and your English proficiency will expand. Making mistakes. In the next section of this discussion, we will address a crucial topic: making mistakes. I will clarify why mistakes are not detrimental but in fact beneficial, and how they can accelerate your learning process. The fear of mistakes. Let's discuss a significant barrier preventing many from speaking English: the fear of making mistakes. This issue is widespread. Numerous English learners refrain from speaking because they dread saying something incorrect. They worry that others will laugh, correct them, or misunderstand their meaning. Perhaps you have experienced this as well. You may want to communicate something, but hesitate, thinking, what if I say it incorrectly? What if I choose the wrong word? What if I make a grammatical error? Consequently, you remain silent. Embracing mistakes. Yet here's the reality. Making mistakes is not a negative aspect. In fact, it is positive. Mistakes contribute to your learning process. Each time you commit a mistake, you gain new insights. You become aware of what works and what doesn't. You enhance your memory for the next time. A mistake isn't the conclusion, it's a progression. Consider how children acquire their first language. They frequently make errors, uttering amusing phrases, incorrect words, and faulty sentences. Do they cease to speak? Absolutely not. They persist in talking and trying, which is how they develop, by making numerous mistakes. The importance of confidence. The same applies to you. You're learning a language and are not required to be flawless. Perfection is not the aim. Effective communication is. Your responsibility is to speak, experiment, and express your thoughts. Even if you stumble, when you articulate your thoughts and make an error, something powerful occurs in your brain. Your brain recognizes, that didn't sound correct. Let's rectify it. And subsequently retains the correct expression more effectively. This is how genuine learning occurs. Not through rote memorization, but through active engagement and correction. For instance, if you say, "He go to school every day," and someone points out, "A minor mistake." It should be, "He goes to school every day." The feedback from your spoken experience will likely help you remember that rule better than if you had merely read it from a textbook. Why? Because the learning emerged from practical experience, not solely from study. Building self-assurance. When you make errors and continue to push forward, you cultivate something essential: self-assurance. You realize that mistakes are not a threat. They are a normal part of the journey. As you engage in conversation and make minor errors, you become less fearful. This is the way self-assurance develops. You might think, "What if people laugh at me?" The reality is that most individuals won't laugh. In fact, many will admire your effort to communicate in a second language, knowing how challenging it can be. And if they do laugh or correct you, don't be concerned. It's fine. Learn from it, smile, and keep moving ahead. Concluding thoughts. Keep in mind that the only individuals who never make mistakes are those who never attempt anything. If you're making mistakes, it indicates that you're trying, learning, and progressing. That's something to take pride in. You don't need flawless English to communicate. What you need is courageous English, the type that isn't afraid of being wrong, honest, and used daily. So the next time you feel anxious about speaking, remind yourself, it's acceptable to make mistakes. Mistakes help me acquire new skills. Each mistake brings me closer to fluency. If I don't speak, I won't improve. Therefore, I will speak. Engage in class. Talk with friends. Converse with yourself. Speak into your phone. Just speak. With each word you utter, even if errors occur, you are improving. To summarize, mistakes are a natural and crucial aspect of the learning process. You cannot develop if you don't make errors. Every mistake aids your brain in learning and growing. Confidence arises from speaking. Even if you're not perfect, take pride in your efforts. Don't wait for perfection. Just communicate. Creating your English ecosystem. In the following section of this episode, we will discuss how to establish your own English-speaking environment. Even if you reside in a country where English isn't spoken or lack English-speaking companions, let's explore how you can immerse yourself in English so that speaking becomes an effortless part of your daily routine. How to begin speaking today. Now that you recognize the significance of speaking and the benefits of mistakes for your learning, you might be asking, how can I start speaking today? I live in a non-English speaking country, and I don't have anyone to practice with. What should I do? Great question. Here's the encouraging news. You don't have to wait for the ideal situation or partner. You can begin speaking English today, right away, on your own. Practical ways to practice speaking. Let's go over some straightforward yet effective methods you can apply. One of the simplest ways to start speaking is to converse with yourself in English. Yes, really. You can talk to yourself at home, in your room, or while you're out for a walk. Describe what you're doing, what you observe, and how you feel. For instance, if you're preparing a meal, say, "Now I'm chopping vegetables. I need to heat the water." If you're walking, you might say, "The sun is shining brightly today. I see a dog running by." It may feel odd initially, but it truly works. By speaking to yourself, you practice vocabulary, grammar, and fluency simultaneously. Additionally, you gain confidence in quickly constructing sentences. Finding a conversation partner. A wonderful option is to seek out a conversation partner. You don't have to find someone with flawless English. You just need a person who is eager to practice alongside you. Numerous apps and websites are available for language exchange, along with language learning communities on Telegram or Facebook. You might also use platforms such as Zoom or Skype to arrange weekly speaking sessions. When you consistently engage in conversation with someone, your speaking skills can improve rapidly. It's enjoyable to share your language learning journey with another person. Using voice notes. If you're not quite ready for live discussions, consider utilizing voice notes. This serves as an excellent step between talking to yourself and having a live conversation with someone. You can send voice messages in English via WhatsApp, Telegram, or various other apps. Connect with a friend or a language group and start exchanging simple messages. You could say, "Good morning." Discuss your day or share your thoughts on a specific topic. This method allows you time to contemplate your speech, aiding in your pronunciation and grammar structure. It also permits the other individual to respond at their convenience, making it low pressure yet highly effective. Shadowing method. Another fantastic method is shadowing. This involves listening to someone speaking English through a video, podcast, or audio clip, and repeating what they say immediately or in sync with them. You imitate their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Essentially, it's as if you're their shadow. This practice trains your mouth and ears to sound more natural and fluent. Begin with brief sentences. Pause and repeat. If it feels too fast, slow down the audio. Over time, your pronunciation and fluency will improve significantly. Recording yourself. Here's another effective approach. Record your voice and listen to it. Many learners shy away from this because they dislike the sound of their own voice, but it's one of the most effective ways to enhance your speaking. By recording yourself, you become more conscious of your speaking style. You can identify your pronunciation, pace, and grammatical accuracy. Comparing your speech with that of native speakers allows you to identify areas for improvement. Don't shy away from hearing your voice. It's a vital tool for your learning process. You can record a brief story, share your opinion about something, or even create a diary entry in English. Try this daily, and you will notice significant progress. Active engagement. All of these techniques encourage active practice rather than passive learning. You aren't merely listening or reading. You are engaging with the language actively. You are speaking. This is how fluency is developed, through regular use of English in real-life situations, not just through memorizing rules. So today, I encourage you to pick one of these methods and begin. Don't postpone it to tomorrow. Don't wait until you feel prepared. You are ready now. Speak to yourself, record your voice, find a partner to exchange messages with, or start shadowing your preferred English speaker. These may be small steps, but they can lead to significant improvements. You don't have to have a perfect setting. You can create your own English environment wherever you are. Incorporate speaking into your daily routine. Even dedicating just 10 minutes a day can result in a remarkable transformation. Daily practice suggestions. Many students often inquire, how can I speak English daily? They recognize the importance of speaking and wish to improve, yet they may struggle with what to talk about, how to initiate, or how to maintain a conversation. If you find yourself in this situation, there's no need to fret. I have some ideas for you. Talk about your day. Let's begin with one of the simplest yet most effective activities. Discuss your day for just 5 minutes each day. Pick a time, perhaps in the morning or before you sleep, and express aloud what happened during your day. You can share your activities, feelings, things you enjoyed, or any challenges you faced. Perfection isn't necessary, just speak. Example: today I got up at 7 a.m. I brewed some coffee. Then I headed to work. My boss assigned me a new project. I felt slightly anxious, but I gave it my all. This type of speaking is genuine. It helps you recall useful vocabulary and merges your English with your daily life, which is an excellent method to enhance your fluency. Describe your environment. Another option is to articulate what you see around you in English. Take a look at your surroundings. What do you observe? Try to describe everything in detail. Example: I notice a white chair. It appears cozy. Next to the window, there's a desk. On the desk, I see a laptop and a notebook. Practicing in this way allows you to naturally acquire vocabulary. You'll use terms like on, under, next to, and between, which are crucial for descriptions. You can also do this while out and about. If you venture outside, narrate what you observe. Example: the sky is clear and blue. 2 birds are soaring. A man is cycling. This activity is simple, enjoyable, and a fantastic way to practice thinking in English. Pose and respond to your own questions. A further effective practice technique involves asking and answering your own questions. This may seem odd initially, but it effectively prepares you for real conversations. You could simulate a dialogue with someone. Example: ask yourself, what's your favorite dish? Response: my favorite dish is pizza. I adore the cheesy flavor and the crunchy crust. Then inquire, what's the reason for your preference? Answer again. You can focus on common subjects such as your interests, profession, family, or preferred movies. The more you engage in this question and answer practice, the simpler authentic conversations will become. This is how you condition your mind to think swiftly in English. Use conversation starters. Starting a conversation can sometimes be challenging, but using straightforward phrases can help. Consider trying these simple openings. Today, I'd like to discuss. Let me share about my weekend. Here's what occurred today. I have a funny story to tell. These prompts allow you to initiate your speaking practice without overanalyzing. Once you get going, the words will start to come naturally. Mistakes are perfectly fine. The objective is to communicate and gain confidence, not to achieve perfection. Consistency is key. It's essential to keep in mind that you don't need to spend a lot of time on this. Just 5 to 10 minutes daily can yield significant improvement. Consistency is vital, which means practicing every day. Speaking English on a daily basis, even briefly, will enhance your comfort and fluency when interacting with others. You can leverage your phone to reinforce this habit. Set a timer for 5 minutes and begin speaking. Use a voice recorder to monitor your practice. Some learners opt to maintain an English diary where they speak rather than write. For instance, they might start each day by saying, "Hello, this is my English speaking practice. Today and continue from there. This space is yours alone. No one is observing or critiquing. It's your opportunity to develop. Celebrate your progress." If you continuously engage in these simple activities each day, talking about your experiences, describing your surroundings, posing questions to yourself, and employing easy conversation starters, your speaking abilities will enhance. You'll observe that the words come more swiftly. You'll gain confidence, and one day, when conversing with someone in English, you'll respond with a smile instead of anxiety. Remember, regular practice forms strong habits, and habits drive meaningful change. So don't wait for the ideal moment. Begin today. Speak a little, speak every day, and relish the journey. You are not merely learning English. You are cultivating a new skill, newfound confidence, and an innovative way to convey yourself to the world. Staying consistent and motivated. In the subsequent segment of this podcast, we will discuss strategies to remain consistent and motivated, even when you feel busy, tired, or uncertain about your progress. Motivation and final advice. Having acquired some practical tips for daily English speaking, let's explore motivation and why it is crucial to maintain consistency. Learning a language can sometimes appear to be a lengthy process. However, I want to remind you that small, daily efforts will lead to substantial progress. This is why habitual speaking practice holds immense power. Speak every day. First of all, speak every day. Even if it's just for a few minutes. You don't need to spend hours speaking every day. A few minutes of speaking every day can have a huge impact over time. When you practice daily, you build a habit. And habits are what make you successful. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment or feel like you have to do it for hours. Just speak for 5 minutes. If you do this every day, you'll be amazed at how much your speaking improves. Embrace mistakes. Remember, the goal is consistency, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect to speak. Many learners think they need to speak perfectly, but this can stop you from speaking at all. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning, and they are a sign that you are trying and improving. So don't wait until you feel perfect or until you know every word or rule. Start speaking now. Even if you make mistakes, that's okay. Speaking is about communication. And if people understand you, you're doing great. Mistakes help you learn and grow. So embrace them and keep going. Building confidence. Speaking also builds your confidence. At first, you might feel nervous or shy. It's normal. But the more you speak, the more comfortable you will become. Every time you speak in English, you take a step forward. You're building confidence in yourself and your ability to communicate. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you create through practice. Final encouragement. Remember, you can do it. I believe in you. I know it's not always easy, but if you speak every day, even for just a few minutes, you will improve. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't worry about being perfect. The most important thing is to speak. Don't wait for the right time or the perfect conditions. Start today. Speak today and take pride in every step forward. Conclusion. So, I encourage you to make speaking a part of your daily routine. Whether you're talking to yourself, recording your voice, finding a speaking partner, or using any of the other methods we talked about, just do it every day. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you feel inspired and motivated to start speaking every day. You have everything you need to improve, and I'm here cheering you on. Keep going, keep practicing, and soon you'll look back and see how much you've achieved. Remember, learning English is a journey and every step counts. You're doing great, and I believe you can reach your goals. Call to action. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love for you to share it with your friends who are also learning English. The more people we can help, the better. You can share the podcast on social media or send the link directly to someone who might enjoy it. And of course, if you want to hear more helpful tips and practice ideas like this, make sure to subscribe to Learn English at Home 79. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode and you'll always have new ways to improve your English skills. Thanks again for listening. Keep practicing and stay motivated.